Islamic Library was established in September 1987 in response to an acute need in the community for access to Islamic literature. The location was a house in Primrose Park, and during its establishment, the library started off with a small but diverse collection of books and videos. A basic catalog system was put into effect, with most of the books coming through as donations from the pockets of the founding members. In 1992, an opportunity arose to move the library to a more permanent home within the Masjidul Quds complex. Moving to Gatesville positioned the library at the epicenter of an iconic mosque in the Western Cape. Islamic Library currently has a collection of over 15,000 items which deal with all aspects of Islam. The library also has a reference section with an Arabic collection that was specially acquired from abroad and is used by religious scholars in the community. Following the opening of the Paarl and Mitchell's Plain libraries, Islamic Library looked to build on its success by expanding its footprint to the Academia Centre in Lansdowne.
The timing of this opportunity presenting itself is also extremely favorable, because if I look at the lifespan of Islamic Library, then this is the moment that you are best geared to implement this project.
The Academia Centre is designed to serve the intellectual, recreational and educational needs of the community. The allocated space within the Academia Centre allows for the library to be a dynamic environment that is supported by the diverse facilities within the centre. Historically, Islamic academic institutions have played crucial roles in the growth of Islam, functioning as conduits for the aggregation and dissemination of knowledge. An early impulse in Islam was to systematically record events, fatwas, and schools of thought. With the advent of the library space, it allowed for this information to be consolidated and circulated. The recently discovered Timbuktu manuscripts are a symbolic representation of the impact and influence of early forms of knowledge preservation. From the oldest Islamic library at the Al-Azhar University in Cairo, through to its presence at recognized tertiary institutions across the East and West, Islam is today a relevant feature on the global landscape.
When we're talking about Islam, we're talking about a civilizational heritage, an ongoing legacy of global growth, development, consciousness, spirituality, advancement, and excellence. And when you're talking about libraries, we're talking about institutions that facilitate Iqra, the starting point of development, the starting point of growth, the starting point of civilizational enhancement.
The future development of Islamic Library is focused on the preservation of Islamic heritage and strengthening of Islamic identity. Islamic Library is poised to enter a new era of academic scholarship and technological innovation. The Academia Library will serve three purposes: as a school library for Islamia College learners and staff, a research library for tertiary educational use, and a public library that will be inclusive and open to all. The facility will attract researchers and scholars with a vested interest in specialist content and will provide free access for the community to engage with the library on all levels. With holdings in excess of 25,000 books, the library will boast an array of facilities and features, including computers with high-speed internet access, custom-built study cubicles, documentation services, recreational reading nooks, an arts and culture gallery, a display of Islamic archive material, and a specialized children's library. Seminar rooms will feature an abundance of technology, including interactive whiteboards, video conferencing capabilities, and discussion systems. The library will host a variety of events, such as book launches, reviews, lectures, essay competitions, and discussion groups.
The key point was to treat this box that is the library as a double volume space quite a dynamic space within which we created distinct but connected zones for different parts of the library. And this in turn created a space that is a lot more inclusive and a lot more appropriate for a contemporary library space. Primary conceptual driver was to locate all of the non-essential library services to the periphery. So for example, over here we have individual study and research spaces scattered along the periphery. We also have the librarian's office, a dedicated academic research library which is quite insular in its nature, and 2 seminar rooms located along the opposite periphery. And what this does is it essentially frees up the rest of the floor to be treated as a very flexible and dynamic and open space. What this means is that you won't have partitions within the space, but rather this will feel as one big open space which is double volume in its nature and will therefore feel a lot more airy and a lot more clean.
By combining the use of traditional books and e-books, the old school charm of a library will be maintained while exposing patrons to the endless possibilities of modern technologies.
The library looks to make available modern computing and technology to a community where it is not immediately accessible. A key focus will of course be making available learning material from all spheres of literature. We intend to build a unique digital catalogue of information and literature that will include everything from children's storybooks to even attempting to access ancient manuscripts from Timbuktu. Our hope is ultimately to bring a reading and learning experience that is attractive to future generations.
Over its 25 years, Islamic Library has played an integral role in the academic and spiritual development of its patrons.
We would like to put a book in the hands of every learner, get every student behind a computer, instill in our kids a love for reading, and we hope that this institution will contribute towards the grooming of future leaders.
With what we're trying to achieve here, this project is on schedule to become the largest Islamic library in Southern Africa, an educational institution, an institution of research value that will continue to maintain the legacy established for over 2 decades. Of course, this has only been possible through the assistance of those that have, and hopefully will continue to be part of this extremely exciting and spiritually uplifting journey, inshallah.
The face of the modern library is changing. It has evolved to become a site of intellectual stimulation, where knowledge and technology intersect to create a social space that fosters creativity, learning, and achievement. The Academia Library will deliver on these ambitions so that future generations may benefit for decades to come.